So I hope you had a good Christmas and Christmas season. We're still in there. There's normally at least 2 weeks or over 2 weeks. I was able to, since I have Father Jim helping this year, I was able to fly back on Christmas Day, since he did the Mass on Christmas Day at 10:30, and was able to make it in time this year for a Christmas dinner. And so that was nice to be with the family there. And you can see Max and Charlie. They're getting bigger. Max 8 already, and soccer. Soccer is his main thing. And so I was goalie for him, and I have the bruises to show it. And as he was, his shot is pretty good. Okay, and Charlie is 4 now, my goddaughter there. And so great to be with the family there. Also great to be with my family here at the parish. And so this was a picture from the 3 p.m. Mass on Christmas Eve for the pageant as well. And so that Mass, there's 1,100 people we estimate. And here is people that overflow as well. And they can see on the screen there. So it's great. And the church looked beautiful as always. And thank you for everyone to help with that. We have a beautiful creche scene. Right here from the ambo, that's with the little baby Jesus, and then underneath the altar we have the bigger baby Jesus, the medium-sized baby Jesus, and then outside we have the big baby Jesus. So you have your pick, whatever baby Jesus you like the best. Okay, but there's one Jesus. So we also got into the Christmas through the kids, the pageant there. So we had that. So, you have your shepherds there. You also have your angels and your sheep as well. They're very good. And also the Magi. Bring in their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to Jesus. And so that's what we celebrate today, the Epiphany. So what's this mean? The Epiphany. It's a Greek word which basically means appearance or revelation. Like even in the English language, we have the expression, I had an epiphany, which means I had a revelation. But what revelation are we talking about here? That this isn't a normal baby. This isn't a normal birth. You have the star leading the Magi from the east. The Magi, who were they? They were wise men, the wisest of the wise. They were known to be trained in the sciences, the latest of the science, so they knew all that. They knew astronomy, especially the stars and constellations there. But they also, because they were pagan, they also were astrologers, we believe, as well. So believing in different kind of pagan beliefs there. So they had all this combination there, and God chooses them to uses the star to bring them to Bethlehem. What about the star? Well, there's different theories about the star and intriguing. It could have been 3 stars, 3 planets coming together in the sky, and so it's one big star. It could have been a comet as well, combination of that. Yeah, it's possible. But stars don't stop over a place, right? And so it says here in the gospel that the Magi said to Herod, we saw a star at its rising. And then, so it must have been there or stopped at a certain point, and then it appeared again, because it said after they saw Herod, the star that is seen at its rising preceded them, and until it stopped over the place where the child was. So there's a belief that this was an angel, that at this point God used nature, but then a supernatural experience of an angel shining, leading them to Jesus. Here's something from the scriptures. The Jewish people, they had prophecies about the Messiah, the coming Messiah, the King. And here's one, obscure one, but I think is interesting here, for Numbers 24. a star shall advance from Jacob. Remember, Jacob, his name is going to become Israel. And a scepter shall rise from Israel. Also, another translation for that first part is a star shall rise from Jacob. A scepter, what's a scepter? Who has a scepter? As king, right? The king has a scepter. So there's going to be a king who rises from Israel. So God uses the language of the Magi and uses this star to get them to Jerusalem. Now, they go to Jerusalem first. Why? Because they naturally think that, well, this newborn king of the Jews, that he's going to be the son of Herod, right? Because Herod's the king. And Herod's at his palace. Herod has all the money, all the power, all the influence. But he doesn't come through Herod. Why? Different reasons. One is that he's nutty, he's crazy. He's connected to his power. He's trying to hold on to his power too much, so much so that he killed a couple of his wives and he killed a couple of his sons because they were a threat to his kingship. Also, I don't have the translation here, but right after this part of Numbers, I think Numbers 18, it says, and Edom will be dispossessed. Edom will be dispossessed. Well, King Herod, he was an Edomite. He wasn't fully Jewish. He was an Edomite. And so they did not recognize him. He was an imposter. And so, of course, he's getting even more paranoid when he hears about this newborn king and the star. So, okay. They go to Bethlehem, which is only 2 miles away from Jerusalem, and they bring him gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Remember what they mean? Gold, that would be symbolic of his kingship as king. Frankincense, offer incense as priest. And also myrrh, two meanings here. One would be that Jesus' bridegroom, a bride and bridegroom would have like perfumes on them for their wedding. And so this myrrh would be used for that. But also, myrrh can be used to prepare a body when someone dies. We believe there's a tradition that Mary used that myrrh, she kept that myrrh and used for Jesus' body after his death until he rose from the dead. A lot of stuff happening here, and with these gifts as well. On Christmas Day, when I went back to my family, before I got back to my family, there was a man who was engaging me in conversation in the line before he got onto this flight, the Southwest flight there. And he was about the age of my dad. He was about 33. And he was engaging me in conversation because, sometimes when I go on vacation, I have my collar. Sometimes if I feel like I totally need vacation time, I don't wear a collar on the plane. But a lot of times I do because maybe someone needs a talk, maybe someone needs confession. And always an interesting talking point when they see the collar there. So he started to talk to me. I can see he was learned. He was well-versed in different areas, even of religion, but he's Jewish. And at the end of the flight, he revealed that he was an atheist as well. He was a Jewish atheist, which is an interesting combination. And but he was respectful, and we had an interesting conversation. So we were talking about stuff on the plane, and there was nobody in the middle. And there was only a few people left that had to be seated, and you have to sit somewhere. So a young woman sat right in between us. She had the option to sit other places, but she chose to sit in between us. And so he's talking politics, he's talking religion, he's going to me on different questions. I mean, in a respectful way, but some controversial stuff. And so the whole flight, we're like talking about things. And so we turned to her and said, "Aren't you glad you chose a seat?" She was Catholic, by the way, and I'm not sure how much in her faith, but she was Catholic. So she entered into a conversation too, but some questions were like, yeah, or statements that he would make, but like, yeah, we don't believe that. Even the Jewish people don't believe that, but I try to do that in a respectful way. But at one point, he said, but you, like, you're like a hero, because you've given your life for others, and even though he's atheist, he's called me a hero because of what I'm doing. So I don't think he's truly an atheist, but just my collar, just my conversation he was able to, that was his feeling. Now, I have the advantage of wearing a collar, and where people can see I'm a priest, I'm a follower of Christ. But how are they going to see that you are a follower of Christ? How are you going to be that star this new year to lead others to Christ? So let's talk about some New Year's resolutions. You could decide on specifics here, but here's some general things for this new year, in which there's going to be a lot of focus on politics, right? Because it's the election year. So sorry, I have to remind you about that, but that's going to be happening. World situation, Israel, the Holy Land, right? Russia, Ukraine, China, different stuff, right? And whatever's going to happen. Here's my encouragement this year. A little bit more prayer. You decide what that looks like, but more prayer. More Bible. Don't just give up when there's a point of the Bible which it doesn't make sense. Be like, I can't believe that because God, that's terrible, so I'm going to give it all up. No, go deeper there. There's a deeper understandings there. A little bit more love. A little more love. A little more giving. Giving of oneself. Giving of oneself. Less internet, please. Less phone, less, I know it dings a lot and you have to, but can you make it not ding, or at least just look at it at different times? There's different things we can do. Less anger, right? Especially when it's going to be revved up this year. We need less anger. Less ego. It's not just about me, about what I want. It's about the other. What's good for you? What does God want? You decide on specifics, but let's have good New Year's resolutions this year, because we need it, our families need it, our community, our state, our country, our world needs more followers of Christ, because we need to believe. And if we don't believe, we're going to turn to, and I've seen we're turn more to pagan New Age beliefs, because we've got to believe in something. Or even if someone's atheist or agnostic, they believe in themselves that they are the decider of what is true, right? We have to believe in somebody. Let's believe in the Lord. Let's be like the Magi, who prostrate themselves, which meant that they went on the ground, face down on the ground, not even kneeling, but face down, laying on the ground before Mary. They were worshiping Jesus, but they were honoring Mary, this teenage girl in this house. It said they went into the house. So at this point, they had a house. And they prostrated themselves. They worshiped Jesus, this little king, newborn king. Let's make sure our intellect, our love of science, our involvement in politics, our involvement in this world always bows to Jesus. Jesus first, our King first, before anybody else. Mary, Mother of God, pray for us. Saint Joseph, pray for us.